So now that you've watched the youth exhibition preview demo from the museum, what I want to do is I want to kind of go over the basic structure of what you're going to be doing with this particular contest. So the first thing is you are going to be responsible for taking a photo and adding other things to it. So you need to actually be the one to take the photograph that is showing the main subject or pieces of the background or something else. So we have to have something, since this is a photography contest, that you're actually taking a picture of. If you remember back in the photography class, if you took that class, we did a big small project. It'd be similar to something like that, or the levitation, the one with magical realism where you were floating, something along those lines. You can use the studio. You can use outside if you want to borrow a camera. I can loan you out a camera. But I think the central subject should be something that you actually took a picture of. But then you can use other photos online that you find online, like Unsplash and some of the other free sites. You really want to focus on finding images that are high resolution because this is going to be printed. So we want to make sure that the quality is there. Now, as far as the assignment, this is the piece here that I just explained. So you want to take one picture that's the main has the main focus that represents some kind of myth or magical thing. Now, the idea is if you really want to make sure that yours gets potentially chosen, it's not just the strength of your photoshopping and photography, it's also going to be your artist statement. And the artist statement is, what does this mean? What is the point of this? The more personal you can make it, but somewhat universal that other people would understand, the better your chances are for being one that's chosen. So these are some of the tips from the museum. So make sure to read these. These are things that are really important to know. You want to understand where they're coming from. The steps are going to be start first with reading the frequently asked questions. Go through and read all of these. Click on this link here and read through all of these as well. This is really going to help you get into the mindset of the people who are going to be choosing the photos that will be exhibited in the museum. So this is a really cool chance for you to actually have your work in a museum. And if yours is chosen, you'll be given tickets for an exclusive opening of the exhibit that you can bring some family members to as well. Usually they've got like snacks and drinks and stuff. And you get free access to the entire exhibition before the public. So what you're going to be doing as far as the assignment is you're going to be creating a Google Doc and review through the resources that I put down here at the bottom. And what you're going to be doing is take some notes based on some of the resources that you've seen, some of your initial ideas. I want this to be kind of a rough draft, just dumping ground of your different ideas, possible links, possible images that you find that you want to potentially replicate or use as inspiration. So if you want to create a Pinterest board, that's fine. But really what I'm looking for is just a Google Doc that shows me what direction you're going in. So this is your chance to take notes. Then you're going to draw out at least 5 thumbnail sketches for your photo, the composite, the story. So what are you going to do? Again, I'm not worried about the quality of your drawing. It's really just about generating ideas and getting it down on paper. If you need paper, just come up and ask. Then what you're going to do is you're going to take your photos. Now, I said you have access. I'm open at lunch. You can come in. If you want to borrow a camera over the weekend, I can work something out with you. And then you're going to create a new document that's 8 by 10, 300 dots per inch. And you'll start to build your composite. So you'll start to put this whole thing together. Once you've done that, you're going to want to go through, like we've done in the past, do your local color adjustments and lighting adjustments, then do your camera raw final global adjustment of colors, sharpening, and then we'll take a look at what this thing is finished with. I want you to show me before we submit to the museum. I want to take a look at what you've got, give you some feedback, give you a chance to make some adjustments, possibly even get some feedback from other students to see what we can do to really make this as strong as possible. Then what you'll do is in a Google Doc, you will write out your artist statement. This is what the museum gave us. It's saying that it's a brief written description, 2 to 4 sentences, no more than 100 words. But it has to be succinct and you have to get to the point. And I've got a resource down here that talks about general advice about writing a photography statement. Now, this one is definitely much more professional, and this is set for maybe a series of photos, but there's some really good information that's in there. Now, as far as resources, what I've got here is I've got several different, these are some TEDx videos or TED Ed videos about myths from all over the world. So if you're trying to find some connection that you may potentially have to a myth or a kind of magical realism type thing, I've got another article here that had some really interesting things about different cultures. There's this huge playlist from TED Ed that has a whole bunch of different possible myths. So maybe you can use this as a chance to kind of skim through and see if there's something that speaks to you. I've also included this one. For some reason, a couple of these are not linked. I don't know if it's the school district, but I've also included the link here. So you could look at these on your phone or outside of class. This one is talking about how the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is it a modern myth? Which I think it kind of is. And then why are superheroes modern day mythology? It's a short little 5-minute podcast excerpt about a book about modern day mythology. Just I'm shooting for different ways for you to potentially interpret this. Ultimately, how you interpret it is up to you, but make sure you read through the contest rules and you click on this fact, the frequently asked questions, and read through all of this because it's giving you some ideas of what you could possibly do. So definitely read those. Don't just go off on your own unless you've had a chance to really think through what they're looking for. A couple other resources that are here. Some of these were Japanese movies, top 10 movies based on myths. This is an Aztec myth. And then I found there's a huge playlist of this thing called Extra Mythology. It's an extra credit website that does these really fun animations, but it's another way to look at other cultural things that you might be able to have a personal connection to that you could discuss in your artist statement. Artist statement stuff's here. Once I've given you feedback, then you will be submitting to the museum. Here's an overview of what the submission process is. I don't want you going through this until I've had a chance to give you some feedback. It will include you having a family member fill out this authorization form. This authorization form merely gives them the rights to display your artwork and that you won't sue them later if they make millions of dollars off of it, which they're not. But this basically needs to be signed digitally by a parent or guardian, and then your information and stuff that's there. Once that part's been done, then you will register. You will actually come to this site, click on this register button, and oh, it's blue. I wrote down green. You will click on the register button and you'll answer the questions that are there. That's where you'll upload your picture and you'll upload your artist statement as well. So all that information will come. And that is what you will be working on. That is a long explanation of stuff, but your chance now is read through the frequently asked questions, read through the contest information, read through all of this stuff, and then open up a Google Doc and start generating some ideas, review through the resources, and ask me for questions if you have any.